Does this even look decent? Let's see. CRF. Should be fine. Let's go over here. $1080-60. That looks like crap. We're gonna fix it. Go to bed. I am not going to bed anytime soon, unfortunately. Okay. CBR, let's go to straight 30,000. And let's see if Spectrum craps out. There we go. That's a better bit rate. That probably will look a lot better. Hopefully. Make sure I have audio. Yes. I'm just waiting to see if the quality goes up. I can't tell if it looks better or not, but if it still looks like crap, please let me know. It still looks like crap. Why does it look like crap? And they were already dropping frames. Alright, so we're gonna have to deal with it. Let's see. Spectrum, you suck. Let's go to $20,000. Let's see, that's better. Alright, that's gonna have to be good enough for now, because Spectrum kind of sucks. And for the one person watching, I hope it looks decent enough. But anyway, so I'm gonna do this thing a little bit different. So before this microscope camera is not working properly, so I cannot get it to work. I tried for like 2 hours to get it to work. So we are actually going to do board repair in thermal imaging. So let me drag this over here so you can see the board here. Let me get this cable out of the way. What's in the way? This is in the way. So this is going to be something new, to actually see board repair in thermal. It's going to be kind of cool. I've never done it before. I don't know if it'll be interesting or not, but you know, we'll see what happens. I wish my microscope camera worked, but you know what, it doesn't. So we're going to make do with what we have right now for this late night live stream and go from there. So the first case that we have is I just want to make sure that this is good. Yeah, whatever. So this is a 20. What the hell machine is this? I don't even know anymore. A1932 that was worked on by 2 other places that says it cannot be fixed. So I'm gonna get a board view open here for an A2001521. See, I don't really this has become a problem lately. I don't really go by the machine. I go by the hang on here. I go by the board number. So, you know, someone will tell me, oh, I have an A20 whatever, and I'm like, huh? But then they tell me the board, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I know that board. Just reopening the board view here because macOS is being a pain, and I'm using this Mac Mini to stream off of because the OBS was a pain on the Surface, and continuity camera is pretty darn cool. I wonder. See, this on my end, the quality looks like crap, but it could just be because it's buffering because of my internet. So I don't know, but we're just gonna continue because hang on. I gotta mess with it because try ABR. Does the ABR look any different? Let's see if ABR looks any different. No. It's gonna look like crap no matter what I do. Oh well. Anyway, so this is an A820011521 that had extensive rework to the USBC circuit, and it still does not work. So the first thing we do on a prior repair attempt is we go through and replace whatever the other shop has done. In this case, it was both CD3215s, and I think the ROM too. They were messing around with the ROM. So what my job is here, I gotta figure, oh yeah, they messed with the connector. I wish I could show you guys. So they messed with the connector and the ROM, everything like that, which makes my job significantly harder. So the first thing we did is we went through and we replaced everything that they did. Yeah, we did the ROM, make sure it was the correct one, as well as both CD3215s, just as a, just to rule it out. It looks like they also replaced some diodes and stuff, and there was no change in symptoms. So what I want to go ahead and do is I want to start checking our prerequisites. So a lot of times on a prior repair attempt, when we undo their work, it will work sometimes because people don't know what they're doing. In this case, it did not work. Why is that? I don't know. So I have my amp meter plugged into the board here. It reads 5 volts and 0.25. What that essentially tells me is that either one CD3215 is bad or there's some firmware issue. So both of them read the same thing. Actually, no, one cycles. So the top one cycles. I'm just going to wait for it to see if it actually still will cycle. And no, it's the same thing. So the fact that it's getting 5 volts and 0.26 means that the CD3215 is probably passing power through the board. It has most of its rails, and will kind of suck to solve. So we're gonna go over that. Let's see here. I'm gonna start probing some voltages. We see here the T2 is getting warm. That is normal. That means the T2 is getting power. One thing I want to check is SOC DFU status. Also, I want to check, make sure our ROM is getting its power over here, because that can cause issues if our ROM, yep, 3.24, that's good. And there's no change on either port. So the next thing I'll do is I'll go over here and I will check our LDOs here. Okay, this one just cycled. 3.25, 3.28. And our port just fell off here. And it just fell off again. They replaced the connector and it's missing the shielding around it, which makes it a pain because the USBC is going to want to fall right off. Alright, now it looks like it tripped our charger. Nope, there we go. .25. Continuing. Also replace this MOSFET. Interesting. What I'm wondering is why did they do it? 3.28, 3.30, 1.80. So all the LDOs look fine. So what I'm thinking now is maybe we don't have an issue within the USBC circuit. Maybe it's somewhere else. And they replaced the ISL2. Lovely. They replaced the 3.3 volt regulator. Lovely. Also. They replaced one of the Thunderbolt chips right here. And there's actually a little solder ball, which is interesting. There's a little tiny solder ball. Now, a little tiny solder ball is probably not a problem, but I want to clear it out just because it's in a bad area. Not that it's going to cause issues. So what I kind of want to do, thinking, okay, we crossed the ROM off the list. We crossed both CD3215s off the list. Maybe there's a broken trace on the ROM. It's possible. I've seen it before. Speaker amplifier. That was corroded. Speaker amplifiers can cause problems, specifically with the T2. So the speaker amplifier is corroded. I'm going to go ahead and pull it off the board. Remember, this is for data recovery. So I don't really care too much about audio here. There's a little bit of flux on there. My hot air. And there was indeed corrosion under there. I don't think that's our problem unless it killed the T2, which is possible. But I just want to clear this out. Flux. Go to my chat. I use a infrared camera that was given to me free by Quanly. It's decent. It's not the best. The software's awful, but whatever. It works. It just natively in OBS, so I'm happy, and it was free, so I can't complain. Okay, so that's off the board. I'm gonna pull the TBT off too, because that can cause it. We don't really need that to get to 20 volts, and it can cause issues. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off, just because I want to roll it out. Come on. I'm not really a fan of this Atten station. It's not bad enough that I went through the effort of bringing my quick from home and switching it, but it's not very good either, and I would not recommend that anybody buys the Atten station. It's just not that great. This model was such crap, it wasn't that bad. Not as bad as newer ones. Alright, so I have no bridges there. That looks good. This connector, I don't think it's our issue. It could be. Let's see. It's mostly fine. Except that pin, but yeah, I don't know about that connector. It's probably fine. I'm gonna grab some Q-tips and alcohol to clean that off. We're gonna let the board cool down, and then we will retest it. So I will be right back. I'll grab a Q-tip and alcohol. I'll check my chat real quick. So, what I plan on doing on this, the problem with these prior repair attempts is I don't know what the person did. I don't know if they knew what they were doing. They probably didn't know what they were doing. So that complicates it. So I'm going to rule out everything that I can quickly. And what I'll probably do is I'll probably replace the CD3215s one more time. And then this is going to go in the pile for board swap. Now what that means is we take the T2 and the NANDs and we put it to a donor board. No, it's not cheap. And then if it still doesn't work, then we know we have a dead T2. The PI USB 3, I'm taking that off too. Because I'm just pulling stuff off for data. I want to get that PD 2.0 back. And after I get that PD 2.0 back, then we can go further. That was replaced also. I could tell because there's almost no solder on it. Let it cool again. You can see the thermal here. Yes, thermal. Yep, there's thermal. See, the board's still pretty toasty here. What I can actually do, one thing about the add-in station that I like is I can blow cold air on the board. So I can do that. Let it actually cool down for a second. Alright, that's cool enough. Now I'm going to plug it in again, and we're going to see if it changes. And then I'll probably try another ROM and another two CD3215s, and if that does not resolve it, then this is going to get board swapped. because, again, I don't know what somebody did, and it's a diagnostic rabbit hole whenever that happens. Okay, 5 volts, 0 0.04, 0 0.24, 0 0.26, 0.27. Let's check SOC DFU status for the heck of it. Actually, what I can do is just plug it into my computer right here and see if it'll come up in DFU mode. So let me see. Shouldn't even need, it should automatically just pop up in Finder, I believe. Let's see here, File, New Finder window. Locations, yeah, let's see, let's grab another USB-C cable. Let's try it. Now the question being, of course, is if it is in DFU mode, are we recognizing it, or is it in DFU mode but we're not recognizing it for whatever reason? That's what we need to figure out. Because, okay, so this would be, the board would be in like this, so the master port would be this one, closest to me. And let's see what we have. See if we have any USB communication at all. Okay, it says connect to a Thunderbolt accessory, so that means it is seeing it. So we do have USB communication. Let's go to Apple Configurator. I just switched this device today, so it's not installed. Yeah, come on. Here we go. Come on. Not now. Okay, Apple Configurator. The audio is very low because I was walking away from the microphone. It's up all the way. I can try and up the gain. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, that clips it. So if it's still too low, then I'd recommend turning your speakers up. So even on here, let's see. Yeah. Any more is not going to be good. That, yeah. I upped it 15 decibels, so yeah, if that's not good, then yeah, just turn up your speakers. Okay, Apple Configurator. Let's see if it's recognized in DFU. Is it recognized in DFU? No. My phone is, but no results in recovery, no, yeah, it is not in DFU. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to look at is SOC DFU status, which is a signal. I want to see if it's falsely in DFU, because the way the CD3215s are acting is kind of making me think it's falsely in DFU. So, DFU status, SOC DFU status is a signal that is going to be outputted by the, I don't know if it's outputted by the T2 or the CD3215. Anyway, this should be, I want to say, I'm going to double check on this because I want to say it should be 1.8 volts. I'm not sure. SOC DFU status. So 1.8 volts means the T2 is in DFU. So if it's 0 volts, then if it's 0 volts, that means that it is not in DFU. And we have definitely an issue on the USB side of things. But still, as I said, because somebody else has messed with it and done a bunch of mean stuff to it, that means that we can't really do our job properly because of that. So that's why a board swap might be different. It might be a better option. Well, why? Because one, there could be different values of components that were replaced. There's just so many variables there. So my plan is here. We're going to check if it's in DFU again. This time via jumpers on the board, or the signal on the board. Sorry, not jumpers. Here's our little resistor. 0 volts. It is not in DFU. Check again. Oh, I did not even check, I don't think, after we removed the components. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I'll recheck. So next step. We have all of our voltages we're supposed to. Our CD3215s have their LDOs. This could be another bad CD3215 from a donor. That's why I'm going to rule it out. Also going to rule out another bad ROM. Let's see. 122. A little bit more thermal imaging wouldn't hurt. So let me do that. I'm going to do a little bit more thermal, a little bit higher resolution. We're going to see if there's anything suspicious that might point us to any other faults. So we are going to go down like this. I'm going to do a very detailed sweep of the board and see if there's any signs of anything at all that is heating up abnormally. Nothing there. But over here, looking very closely at everything. Sometimes you'll get a little resistor, something just, you know, pulsating. And I don't see that. So most likely electrical related faults downstream are ruled out at this point. What is that? Is it just emissivity difference, or is there actually something heating up? There is something heating up right there. Oh, whoa, did you guys see that? I saw that. What was that? Let's look at our schematic and board view. Or a board view, because I saw that little blip of that resistor, and let's see, what was that? That was SOC VBus. Right when our chip got hot, right at the corner at 20 volts. Okay, so interesting. So yeah, that's enough for me to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I want to replace that MOSFET and that CD3215 again because that was unusual. So that was very unusual. This resistor here, is this a 0 ohm? What is this? It's a 30K USB VBus detect into a diode. Okay. So these two resistors, they were placed right next to our CD3215 for sure. What is this for? This one is, okay, so debug control, signal data, and LDO. That's very important. Let me see what that reads. That's supposed to be a 1 mega ohm. So let's see what that actually is. Is it actually a 1 mega ohm? Because people replace stuff with the wrong values all the freaking time. Come on. Fluke, don't shut off. Yep. Okay, this one down here that they touched is 100K. That sounds right. And 100K. Let me just double check on those values. So this is a 100. That's good. This is, what is this? This is supposed to be 100K. Good. And this is supposed to be what? 100K. Alright, so that's good. I'm going to replace, I have a 2141 not showing image or backlight, tried another board, all top case, LCD is okay. TPS NAND okay, GPU okay. How do you know the GPU is okay? How do you know the MUX chip is okay? How do you know the GPU is okay? You don't know the GPU is okay. 2141 not showing image or backlight. Well, most likely it's a dead GPU. I don't have it in front of me, so I can't tell you, but you're going to want to check your 3.3 volt and 5 volt lines to your LCD. If those are good, check and see if the LCD is actually being told to turn on. So EDP backlight or EDP panel power enable. All those lines from EDP to the LCD, you look at the screen connector and the chips near the screen connector. If you do not have any of those EDP power enable, it's not detecting the screen, that's going to suck. Check for shorts on your 5 volt LCD line, that can cause it. Also do a PRAM reset because PRAM resets can do it. And also make sure you don't actually have a no post issue. So hit your caps lock light, see if you get caps lock, because a lot of times people say they have, okay, just because it turns on and your voltages are fine does not necessarily mean the GPU is fine. Make sure that you actually do not have a no post issue first. But yeah, check and see if your LCD is being told to turn on by your EDP panel power enable signal. And if it's not, then that does not seem good. Just because voltage is present, you can't assume that the board is good. Okay, so at this point, I am going to go grab a donor board and we're going to start swapping some stuff because I feel like somebody messed around here. Well, I know somebody messed around, but that's going to cause that's causing a problem, so I'll be right back. coming back. So, I have my donor board, and I also have another board that's a potential candidate for a swap, so meaning take the T2 off, which I'm not doing tonight. Okay, if caps lock is not turning on, you do not have a no image issue, you have a no post issue. So no post really sucks to solve. No post can be anything from T2 or firmware issues to CPU issues to GPU issues to RAM issues to VRAM issues. No post sucks. Like, it sucks. So good luck. But yeah, any little knocked off capacitor or resistor can do it. Any little bit of corrosion under anything can do it. Good luck. You're basically screwed, my friend. Sorry to say. Okay, so I have my donor board. I'm going to pop back thermal. I got to set this up again. And we're just going to transfer components now. So I'm going to get this set up where you can see, hopefully, this is our patient board. I'm going to swap all these CC components, the ROMs, all that stuff. Come on, there we go. That doesn't look right. How did I have it before? That looked good. I'll do it like this. Further in as much as I can tolerate it. There we go. Move my power supply a little bit. And that's no. That's good. That's pretty decent right there. So I'm going to take that off, and I am just going to start swapping everything. I'm going to take everything off. All these little MOSFETs here, some flux down, and we're just going to start plucking them off. That's good enough for that. Alright, I'm going to start putting our new stuff back on, then we'll swap the CDs last. Okay, here we go. Flux on the donor board. I'm going to replace that connector too because I really don't trust it. Christian is here. Long time no see. Yeah, it has been a while, hasn't it? So I'm trialing a blend of flux, but I don't really like the odor of it because there's one ingredient in it. I can smell that particular ingredient. It's an antioxidant, the ingredient that I smell, but I don't like the strong odor of it. And I don't know if it's benefit. I feel like the benefit of it kind of isn't worth it for the strong odor. I much rather prefer the clean terpenol scent from the Pine blend. Alright, so there's that. Let's replace the connector. I'm kind of waiting on do the CDs until last because I'm hoping it'll work. Because this connector is kind of not very good. Where is my solder? It's not on the new desk, so let me go grab it in the front room. And go to my no new activity. Alright. Wish I had the microscope view, but what can I say? You know. That was very unusual. I had this USB-C cable laying on my desk. It's connected to power, and it felt like it was burning me almost. It was like a pinch. I wonder if there's something wrong with the mains in this office. That was quite interesting. Alright, so how I do these connectors, I make sure that there's solder on all the pins. I'm going to pull it off the donor board. How I'm going to do that, I'm going to position the donor board at the edge of the board, make sure there's enough flux around it, which there is. I'm going to get my hot air. I'm going to heat directly under it, like this. So it's at the edge of the board, I'm heating under it. And you're going to hope and pray nothing flies into your eyeball. I'm not responsible if anything goes into your eye. And we're going to heat for a while. Then we just grab it and move it away to the edge. That's it. And then I'll grab my new connector here. And just thinking. Nah, not tonight. Really cozy workplace. Yeah, I just set this up in the back office and I'm kind of loving it right here. So this is the back part of the building, well, semi-back part of the building. There's still more building that way, but yeah, this is nice and quiet. The front was too, yeah, I just didn't like it. It was too noisy and chaotic for me to do videos, so I set up this back dark cave in the back of the office that, yeah, it's nice and chill and dark, and I like it. So I'm going to align this connector the best that I can, and they're usually fine if they're off a little bit. And what I'll do now is I'm going to go about 340. I'll say 340 and air. We'll go around like 20-30% air, but I'm going to switch to a big nozzle. So I want to go, ow, I burned myself. I'm going to go to a big nozzle because we want that to be distributed evenly across the larger area. Kind of a pain. I'm just going to set this right here for now. So our 340, 20-30% air is fine, and we're just going to go slow and steady and put it on. So a little bit more than that. Let's go to 40% air, and I'm just going to slowly heat, and we'll see it. It'll kind of pull itself into place, and we can give it a nudge. And it's pretty well aligned. The main thing you have to watch out for is the connector is going to want to bow. And we'll have to push down. And once I see it starting to melt, I'm going to push down the top of the connector, give it a few little pokes. And that's going to ensure that it's on there. So I could even zoom in so I can see the solder's melted. And I wish you guys can see this, but like I said, microscope camera's not working, so. See, it melted the connector a little bit. That should be good. That should be soldered. We will see. We will see if it's soldered. And how I can tell once the connector's dry and everything, once the solder's dry or hardened, what I can actually do is give it a little poke on each of the pins and see. So I'm going to get Q-tips and clean this up. And then I'll go around with my tweezers and poke each pin to make sure it's actually soldered. And there's a little edge here that's fine. So I can actually see. If I poke the top of the pin, it will move if it's not soldered on there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go pin by pin. And I'm looking through the gap in the connector to see if it moves. So far, so good. Just a matter of going through each pin, seeing if it moves. There we go. So everything's good. I'm going to clean it up. And now I'm going to test again. And we're going to see what it does. And go from there. Maybe we'll get 20 volts. Maybe we won't. Alright, same story. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace the CD3215s again and the ROM. So what I'm going to do first, I'll try the ROM just because it's easier. Let me take the shield off on the donor board to pull the RAM off. Hi Teresa, when do we get thermocam? You'll get more here, like right now. I do. I'm surprised you guys heard that, the scanner going off, but yes. That's what you heard. Should probably shut that off. Okay, that's off. I'm gonna swap now the TBT ROM. With it off, I'm actually going to diode mode each pin. So let's let that cool down for a second. And then I want to go each pin by pin in diode mode, see if there's any potential issues there. Back to chat. See where these are going to run. Okay, there's a series of resistors here. Those all look fine. but I want to make sure. So what this is going to tell me by probing each resistor is if there's a connection to the CD3215s. So I'm going to put one probe on ground, pin 1, that's ground. 3.04, 6.5, 6.5, 3.9, 3.04, 6.5, 6.5. So this pin, these two, why are these so high? Is there a reason for that? TBT ROM hold. What is this resistor? Is this resistor bad or good? Is resistor bad or good? .3. 3.26, that's good enough. Alright, so that's pretty much ruled out. The circuit is fine. Now we're going to go put the new ROM on. So, pull it off of this board and plop it onto the other one. And then finally we'll do our two CD3215s, and if that doesn't work, then we will, probably not on stream, do a board swap. Which means swapping the T2 and NANDs to a new board. Not a fun job, but I'll take it. So let's let it cool down with the new ROM, and we'll see how it behaves, and then we will swap our CD3215s again. Let me make sure that these chips are good on this board. It's bad. Okay, let's see. What does this take? Because I want to make sure the chips are good off of our donor board, so I want to see what it measures on this one here, because I have a donor here. Volts. Volts. Okay, so I know this board that they're coming off of is good. So my workspace is kind of yucky right now. I want to clean this because I don't want flux and chips and everything all over the place. So let me grab a paper towel and some clean. Oh, some cocoa. Okay. Now we lost our connector. That's fun. Our connector fell off of the board. That's just what I wanted to do. And it's probably, no, it didn't fall off. It's in here. If that happens, that's my own stupidity. So that means we got to replace the connector again. Yeah, I'm just going to put this to the side. That sucks. So yeah, it came off in the port. And that's something I shouldn't have, I should not have overlooked that. That's okay. We will grab another, we'll do another connector. No big deal. Go hunt down another connector real quick. Alright, our new connector is going to go on. Let me switch over to the thermal again. Same thing, same deal. We're just going to align it and get it on there. Come on. This one is being a pain. There we go. Come on there. Beautiful. Okay. Now, let it cool down and we'll give it the poke test as soon as the solder hardens. Should be good now. Clean the connector off a little bit actually. already one pin that's not soldered. Let me just make sure it's just that one. Because one thing you have to remember, if you have to reflow it, it's okay, because once the pin is soldered, it's not going to come unsoldered. But the one that's not soldered will cause issues, so. Okay, just that one. Let me see what it's for. Actually, if it's an NC, then I don't have to worry about it, but I don't think it is. No. It's just a test point. I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna worry about it. It's literally just for a test point. Or is it? Is it that one, or is it? No, it's the one. Yeah, no, that's just a test point, so I'm not gonna care about that right now. So now let's see what it does. Plug it in. Let's see what it does. Now that we have a new ROM, a new connector again. 5 volts, okay, it's cycled. 5 volts, 27, 26. Okay. Same thing. So now I'm going to swap the CD3215s one more time. Let me put back the USB 3 switch. Not that that's going to do anything, but I want to just put it back and see what happens. Because that IC, if you remove it, it'll still get to 20 volts. It's usually not that. That. And I made the stupid mistake of leaving the connector or the port in there, so I'm gonna wait. Luckily it didn't come off. Oh, this I didn't see. Did I bridge this? Or was this bridged to begin with? It's all the same stuff, doesn't matter. One thing I want to check, for a short to ground. I was just thinking about that. What about a short to ground one of the USB data lines? USB-CC 2 and CC1. What if we have a shorted diode? It could be. Nope, no shorts in any data lines. And I checked all of them, so not that. Okay. So it's not a short on any of the CC data lines. Nothing funny there. Just test one more time. Then I'm going to replace the two CD3215s. And we'll go from there. Five volts, nope. Okay, new CD3215s. Here we go. Burn myself. These are probably still good, so I'm going to put them aside. We'll see. These two I know are good because it reaches 20 volts. Aside, check my chat. Okay. How bad did did I rip pads on this? Did I? No, it's fine. Some oxidation that we got to take care of. You know, and the chip just doesn't come off too cleanly. Happens all the time, but is what it is. Just gonna clean it. I'll scrape the pads with my tweezers and then go over it again with solder. I just put a little scratch in on the pads that are oxidized, because what's going to happen is that's going to allow the flux in the solder to kind of remove that oxidation layer once it touches it. Should be good. Get a little bit of 759 on here. I'm gonna switch to my little pointy ILS tip for this. I always like using the ILS tip for stuff like that because where's the ILS tip? The other one just doesn't do the trick. The BC2 is kind of it's not pointy enough, and I want to be able to work on those pads individually. I don't know. So, our solder paste, have my different tip. Just the tip is right. Come on. Stubborn oxidation. But it's coming. Come on, I don't want to overheat the chip too. One more, then I'm going to try and reball it. You know what? I don't trust this chip anymore. I don't want to overheat it, and I'm pretty sure it's overheated by now. So yeah, I'm just gonna grab a different one. That one is being incredibly stubborn. It just so many pads are oxidized on it. It's my fault because I pulled it off before all the balls were melted. But I don't trust that anymore. So I'm gonna grab a different chip. Clean this one up. Get this one reballed real quick. Better safe than sorry, because I don't want to chase a ghost. Please tell me it didn't slip and is not aligned. Nope. Beautiful. Alright, let that go. That is beautiful. Alright, let me go find another CD3215. I'll go this way. Alright. This looks beautiful. I'm going to get it on the board real quick. Knocked a little capacitor off. Take care of that real quick. Alright, chip is going on. Make sure I have the right orientation here. So orientation, got dot in the top, right there. There we go. That should look, yep. That's right. Lower this air. That went on really funny. I don't know if I like that or trust that. Does it look... It like went all cross. Yeah. I can't tell. Well, we'll see. Alright, this one I want to try and pull off where I can preserve some of the balls. That way, if I do that, it'll be a lot easier for me to just snap it in the stencil and put a little more, maybe not even, may not even have to add any solder paste if the balls are even. Just have to put a little bit down. No big deal. Beautiful. Wait for it to harden. There's that. And this is a mess because of all of the little balls everywhere, the debris. So I'm going to put some flux down. And those are going to get washed away when I heat it. Just like that, done. I'm going to grab our board. Same orientation. like so. 450% air. Gonna keep it far away and it should just snap right into place. Like so. Beautiful. I think that top one might be okay after all. We'll see. Moment of truth in a second here. And basically, if this doesn't work, then this is going to get referred for board swap, and I will do that probably tomorrow night. Or when I'll probably, maybe I'll do that on stream. I don't know. It depends. It depends on my mood. Just going to let that cool down. We're going to see then. Hopefully it works. If not, then is what it is. But, yeah, so. Letting it cool down. The board is still pretty hot. Rapid cool. Professional. Five volt, 02, 03, 00. That's different. I'm guessing that top one is bad. Let's see. 023. 02. Yeah, the top one, I gotta reball the top one. I figured as such, but it doesn't look like it was bridged. It looks like one was not making contact. Where's my flux? There it is. I'll just pull a new one. The microscope camera is not working right now. That's why I'm not using it, because it is not functioning. It literally, when I plugged it in and switches, it causes macOS to crash. So something happened with it, and I need to get a new one. And I looked for an optics cam, and they're not available anymore. So I need to research what's out there, what is best, and order one. Because I'm out of touch with what's ideal now. I'll just see what Injured Gadgets has. People are still using this laser crap. Here's one. 48 megapixel, 2K at 30 FPS, 1080p at 60, HDMI. I'm gonna try a new HDMI capture card first, and then I'll get this thing. So they have. Yep, okay. No big deal. And it slipped. Alright, here goes nothing. I'm going to get this back on, then we'll test again. and see what the fate of this board is going to be. Hopefully it gets to 20 volts. I don't have high hopes, but yeah, and the whole thing about a board swap, what I'll do is the T2 is going to go first, and the T2 and ROM, it should give me 20 volts without the NAND. And if it still gives me 5 volts, same symptoms, we're not going to swap the NANDs over because that's a lot of work. And it's just not going to work. So it'll get me 20 volts without the NANDs, and then we'll know. And then after, we just do a DFU revive, not a restore. And then we have data. Alright, that's on. Now we wait and see. Just let it cool for a second. Let's see. Let's see. Five volts, 27. All right, so yeah, this is gonna get board swapped. Oh well. I tried. At least I have my answer that I was after tonight. So this is, who knows what is up with this. Could be traces. It's really, really hard to say. I don't think it's the T2, honestly. They just presents differently. It could be the T2, but I don't know. I don't want to screw with DFU because that usually will cause issues. So, yeah, it's going to get the T2 swapped first, T2 and ROM onto the other board, and with the NANDs removed on the other board, of course, and then it should give me 20 volts. If it doesn't give me 20 volts, then, there's an issue somewhere, but I think it'll give me 20 volts, and then we'll just swap the NANDs over carefully, and then it should work. So, yeah, that's it for this one. Got my answer that I needed to know on this board, so that's one thing off my list, and got a few more to do tonight that are boring, and then I go home and sleep for a couple hours and come back here. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.